Hello guys, welcome back to Tactical Trafford, and today we want to talk about the tactical analysis of Benjamin Šeško as was reported by Fabrizio Romano and Florian Plettenberg. Manchester United is actually interested in Benjamin Šeško. We have actually presented our project to Benjamin Šeško and his camp, and Manchester United is actually in the race for Benjamin Šeško alongside Newcastle United. So guys, let's dive into this video together to actually talk about all the characteristics of Benjamin Šeško and how he fits into the Ruben Amorim project. So the first characteristics of Šeško we are going to be talking about is his goal scoring. When it comes to goal scoring, Benjamin Šeško is actually a goal machine. He's actually a very good goal scorer. He can score a lot of goals, but his stats does not actually reflect that. When it comes to goal scoring, Benjamin Šeško he has the qualities to score every kind of goal. He can score in a rigid system or the traditional system. He can score in a transitional system like the Manchester United team. He can score in awkward positions. He can score in weird positions. He's actually very good. He has a very good ball striking ability, but he doesn't take enough shots per 90 minutes. He has 2.56% shots per 90 minutes, but that actually comes down to the mechanism of his shots and his movement, which I'm going to go into in no time. When it comes to the shooting, why the shooting of Benjamin Šeško is very low and why he doesn't score enough is that most of the times he depends so much on his ball striking ability. Most of the times he doesn't position his body enough well, so he doesn't strike the ball with so much intention, and this makes most of his balls to go out wide, or the balls that actually goes on target does not actually trigger the goalkeeper. The balls actually goes more strength other than threatening balls that can be able to pull the goalkeeper off guard. But when it comes to the finishing of Benjamin Šeško overall, he's actually a very good goal scorer. So guys, sorry for interrupting this video. I want to beg you guys for a favor. I want to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of August, so I'd like you guys to help me subscribe to Tactical Trafford. I want you guys to smash that like button. I see many people watching my video, but you guys don't subscribe to my channel. I beg you guys to subscribe to Tactical Trafford as we have a goal to achieve by the end of next month. So guys, let's talk about the movements of Benjamin Šeško. Benjamin Šeško in Leipzig is a player that actually likes to drop deep in the pockets and play with the team and orchestrate the play. He's a player that actually likes to also run away from the ball and score like with a very bullish approach, just like a kind of Erling Haaland. He's a player that can be able to make runs in behind. He's a player that actually loves to drop deep, to play in the pocket spaces, to play like a false nine or an attacking midfielder, and this is actually mainly due to the fact that he plays for Leipzig, and Leipzig and Salzburg has this Red Bull team or this Red Bull connection, whereby all the teams that are connected to this Red Bull network, they actually play in a 4-4-2 system, whereby two strikers play up front and one of the strikers is actually being tasked with dropping deep, while the other is being tasked with making runs in the end. And Sesko, obviously, that player that actually drops deep, that is more comfortable in the ball, that is more good in tight spaces and ball manipulation. So it's the striker that actually drops deep to influence the play, while Lewis Openda, on the other hand, make runs in behind. And this has actually affected the shots per minute of Benjamin Šeško. It has affected his box presence. Most of the times Benjamin Šeško is actually not in the box whenever there is crosses or whenever there is a player that wants to play, or for him to make runs in behind, because he's always dropping deep to actually influence the play, and this has actually affected the overall play of Benjamin Šeško. He has not been able to show most of his characteristics and most of his attributes because he's always dropping deep to play. And actually, this is something that I know that if it comes to Manchester United, Amorim is the coach that actually likes his striker to run the channels most of the times instead of being a target man. So Benjamin Šeško will be exposed to a whole different kind of football. He's going to need to adapt to the Premier League and adapt to the team he's going to be playing, the Manchester United team, because instead of dropping deep to be contesting with the likes of Kohan, the likes of Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, he'll be tasked with making runs in behind and running the channels. And this is something that he can actually very well, because he's a player that has this hunger to run in behind. He's a player that actually can run in behind with great pace and great athleticism and precision. So this is something that he's going to be tasked in Manchester United more often instead of in the Red Bull network, whereby he'll be tasked with dropping deep and influencing the play. But when it comes to the movement of Benjamin Šeško, is a player that actually has a very prolific movement. His movement is actually very wonderful. So guys, when it comes to the header of Benjamin Šeško, Šeško is the player that is actually an elite header, and his height gives him a bit of an advantage because he's like 6'4" tall, so he's actually very tall. He's very good in area duels, but most of the time his approach when it comes to area duels is actually very wrong because his approach most of the times is not really good. He doesn't really have that characteristics of using his body and his arms for more protection. This is something that he's really going to work on. And then when it comes to bringing the ball down from goal kicks, this is actually something that he needs to work on. It is still a work in progress. He still needs to work on that. But when it comes to the header of Benjamin Šeško, it's actually very good in headers. And with Bryan Mbeumo being the player with the most crosses in the Premier League last season, Benjamin Šeško is actually a player that is going to benefit from all the crosses of Bryan Mbeumo, because Bryan Mbeumo is a player that likes to whip in a lot of crosses when he cannot be able to manipulate the wing back. So this is something that Benjamin Šeško is actually going to benefit from next season. He's definitely going to be at the back end of all the crosses of Bryan Mbeumo. So guys, when it comes to the possession of Benjamin Šeško, is actually very good in keeping possession. He's good in dropping back like a false nine, to play in the pockets, to orchestrate the play. He likes to keep possession for the team. He likes to influence the play. And if you look at the statistics of Benjamin Šeško, he's the player that actually has more touches in the middle third than in the final third. That tells you about the way he's been playing for RB Leipzig. He's one of the players that likes to keep possession. He's a player that has a very good acceleration and deceleration, and this makes him very unpredictable because he can be able to play in tight spaces. He can be able to manipulate the ball with his ball control. He has a very good first touch. He's a player that can be able to switch the ball very effectively. And one of the characteristics I like about his possession play and his link-up play is that he has this ability to actually swiftly pass the ball one turn when he's on high pace. He's a player that actually doesn't stop completely. There are strikers that before they receive the ball, they stop completely before they receive the ball. Benjamin Šeško is the player that actually likes to be on motion, to give this 1-2 give and go kind of pass. He has this ability to give this give and go touch and actually move very swiftly. But whenever it comes to ball, he doesn't really create enough when it comes to a center striker. He doesn't really progress enough when it comes to an elite center striker. But when it comes to doing the primary job of a striker, when it comes to giving and going, making runs in behind, is actually very good in his position overall. So when it comes to the profiling of Benjamin Šeško, let's actually talk about his profiling, if he's going to fit the project of Ruben Amorim. Actually, before actually going to that, we want to actually talk about the characteristics of Benjamin Šeško overall. In conclusion, Benjamin Šeško is a player that is actually very good. He has so much to work with and he still has so much to work on. He's a player that actually needs to work on a lot of his characteristics, and he still has a more to platform in the biggest stage. He's a striker that has not just shown glimpses or any kind of flashes. He's a striker that has shown potential. He's 24 years of age. He's actually in a very good age to platform to one of the biggest clubs in Europe, in Manchester United. He's actually very good. He has a very good speed, acceleration, deceleration, a good high jump, a good ball control, ball manipulation. He's very good in tight spaces. He's very good in manipulating the ball, in switching the play, in playing good give and go. He has a very wonderful movement. He has the hunger to score goals. He has very good ball striking ability. So when it comes to if Benjamin Šeško is going to fit the project of Ruben Amorim in Manchester United, yes, he's going to suit the project of Ruben Amorim, but he's still raw and most of his characteristics are really not refined, and Manchester United need a proven goal scorer that is going to elevate the position of Manchester United. Benjamin Šeško is not a striker that is going to take Manchester United in winning the Premier League, in winning the Champions League, in winning major trophies. He's a striker that is also going to just add a little bit of firepower, a little bit of output when it comes to the attacking play, but he's not he's not going to transform Manchester United like the likes of Haaland or Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres is going to elevate Manchester United. He's actually going to take us to a level, but he's not a kind of player to actually depend on when it comes to big games or when it comes to actually transforming the overall play of the game. So Benjamin Šeško is actually a risk that is worth taking because he has a lot of characteristics that he has not shown, probably because in Leipzig he's been instructed to drop deep and play. Meanwhile, I think he's a player that can be able to run the channel effectively, but he has not been given that role. Lawrence Openda has been given that role. He's a player that has actually been given the role to drop deep and play with the team and make those in behind passes. But I think when it comes to Manchester United, he's going to need a lot of adaptability, given the fact that he's also going to need to know the requirement of Ben Amorim tactics. He's going to actually know what it actually feels like to play for Ruben Amorim. He's going to be running the channel very frequently. He already knows how to be a target man. He already knows how to play quick 1-2 passes with supporting players. He already has majority of the characteristics that a Ruben Amorim striker will need. The only characteristic that is missing is his channel running and probably the execution of his goal scoring. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts about if Benjamin Šeško is going to be the right striker for Manchester United. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford, as I'll be making more videos about Manchester United. See you guys in my next video. Ciao.